Welcome back, book buddies. So today I'm going to be talking about my May wrap up, all the books I read in May, and then my June TBR, which is actually going to not be that big. So let's get into it. First book is The Book Proposal by KJ McKeechee, maybe McKeechee. I'm going to give this book, oh, I was about to say 4 stars. I'm going to say 3.5 stars. It's about a writer who has writer's block, and she reaches out to an old friend on a drunken night, and he is a lawyer, and he reaches back out and helps her with her book that she's writing, and it gets a little messy, and then there's romance. The reason that I'm giving this 3.5 stars is because I like the writing. The story was fun and cute, but there were a lot of like fart and poop jokes. That's not really something I'm into. Maybe other people find it funny. I guess they were trying to make the character like relatable, but there's like a scene where she's going out for a jog and she like sharts on herself, and she's like always so gassy, and it's like not quite the romantic scene that I was looking for, but it is, if you can get past that, it is a good book. So I'll give that one 3.5 stars. And I would recommend it, actually, even though it's not a 5-star. Honestly, I don't think that I found a 5-star read this month. That's what I'm giving the book. The second book that I read was Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. This was an anticipated book of May. It's gotten so many great reviews, so obviously I had to read it. And I give it 3 stars. Like, I give it less than The Book Proposal, which was actually kind of romantic. Emily Henry, it's a hit or miss with her. I loved Book Lovers. I will say that every chance I get. But this book, I will say maybe it's my second favorite book of hers, if we're ranking them, but it's still only a 3-star for me. The romance was barely there. The guy was okay. So it's about a journalist who wants to be, I guess, a writer, and she's trying to write a book for like this older recluse who used to be this famous socialite. And then she's in competition with this guy, and the woman wants them both to stay on the island. So not at her home, but on the island, so that she can get to know both of them and see who she wants to write her story. Her story was boring. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I could have done without her story. Like, this book could have been 5 chapters and been okay. I was mainly reading it for the will they won't they between the 2 main characters. Even though it felt more like that was the subplot, it was the most interesting part of the book. However, if you're into fake celebrity history, that may have been very interesting to you, so that might be something you like. The book was marketed as a romance, which is why I assumed that there would be more romantic elements to it. So for what it was marketed for, I didn't think that it lived up to the hype. So that's why I gave it 3 stars. But again, I would recommend the book. The writing was good. It kept me engaged. I was able to finish the book, so it's not like I DNF'd it. So that book, 3 stars. The next book I read is None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. I wanted so badly to just love this book because I love her writing. This book in particular, I'm gonna give it a 3.75. Like, 4 stars is a lot for me because I rarely give out 5 stars. So it's just not 4-star material. 3.75. It's about a podcaster who is trying to uncover. Okay, first of all, let me start at the beginning because it's a lot. It's about a podcaster who gets approached by a woman who has the same birthday as her, and she starts a podcast called Birthday Twins, and she's pretty much trying to uncover what this woman wants her to know. And it's really weird because obviously the woman is lying to her and she can't figure out why she's lying to her. Like, she approached her to give her a story, but then she's lying about the whole thing. And then it just gets twisty and turny. But the last twist is the thing that made me like not even give it a 4 stars. So at the end, I'm obviously not going to ruin the book, but at the end it was closing up so nicely, and it was like, oh, okay, I can live with this. And then there was one last twist at the end, which once I was about 3/4 of the way through the book, I knew the twist, and then I knew the double twist. But I'm really good at guessing twists, so I cannot hold her against that. That's just me and where I'm at right now. Like, call me Sean, psych, if you don't get that reference. But still, so the double twist at the end, I feel like is unnecessary. And I know a lot of books are starting to lean towards the double twist to really throw the readers off. And it's like, it's not necessary. It was a good book. It could have been a good ending. You chose this. You did this to yourself. So would I recommend it? Yes, I will always recommend Lisa Jewell. It just was not my favorite. Okay, I was about to say that there's not a single book that I would not recommend that I read last month, but that's a lie because I read Reckless. If you watch my shorts, then you know how I feel about Powerless. I don't like it. I feel like BookTube let me down with that recommendation. Powerless. Oh, Powerless. It's a book. It is a book, a published book. And I just didn't like it. I did not like it. I didn't like the writing. I didn't like the repetitiveness of it. I didn't like the descriptions. I did like the story. But I liked the story the first 2 times when I read it in different books, i.e. The Hunger Games. So the story itself is a good story. It's a good concept. It always will be. But I don't think that the book was executed well. However, I read Reckless because I wanted to give this a fair shot. Sometimes the first novel in a series isn't the greatest, and that's okay. But Reckless was actually worse than Powerless. Okay, so Reckless continues to follow the story of Kai, Peyton, and Kit, but the entirety of the book was them fighting each other. Honestly, it could have been a 2-chapter book. He goes and gets her, he drags her through the desert, he brings her to the king. The end. This has to be a 1-star review for me, and that is my personal bias. Don't take it personally if this is your favorite book. I personally was not a fan. So let's move on to Ready or Not by Cara Baston. This book is, I might give this book 4 stars. I might give it 4 stars. It was cute, it was fun, it was flirty, it was everything that I was looking for in a spring read. Okay, so it is a friends to lovers romance, and I prefer friends to lovers over enemies to lovers. Like, all that tension don't need to be there. You guys have been friends for a while. The foundation was there. You put in the work. I can understand friends to lovers, and that's why I like it so much. So I really did enjoy this book. It's about a woman who has a one-night stand and ends up pregnant by surprise, and her best friend's brother, who is also one of her really good friends, ends up stepping in and stepping up to help her through everything she's going through. Even though her best friend wasn't like best friending at the time, she was going through her own thing, so she couldn't be there for her. So she kind of felt alone, and he really he came through. He was that guy. He was that guy. The story is cute. It's beautiful. It's a recommend. It's a 4 stars for me. I don't know about everybody else. This might be somebody's 1 star, which I think is so funny how reviews work, but top-notch reading. I only read 2 other books in May. So I read Death Row by Frida McFadden. It's actually, I won't say it's a book. It's like a short story or novella. But that's a 1 star for me. I do not like giving Frida, my girl, a 1 star, but that book, it was just like somebody was like, hey, we need you to write this, and she's just like, sure, my readers will read anything, even though I'm busy. Let me just put something together and throw it out there. That's what it felt like. It was not great. It was about a woman who is on death row for the murder of her husband, and she is telling people that she didn't do it, and she's like trying to remember what actually happened, and it was just a hot mess. Like, there was twist on twist on twist on twist. Like, the ending didn't even make sense to me, and maybe it's, you know, it's for a different kind of reader that really likes to dig deep and think about it philosophically, but I'm not that person. I like to be straightforward. I mean, there's a time and a place, and I don't feel like this short book should have been that place. It was rushed, and it just didn't make sense, honestly. So that was a 1 star for me. Frida, do better. She does have a new book coming out in October, so maybe she will do better. Maybe this was just a one-off, because the last and final book that I read, and it's part of a series that I've read before, I just never read the final book. Okay, it's called We'll Always Have Summer by Jenny Han. So I did read the first 2 books, like a long time ago, but they're making this book, they're making the 3rd one into a 3rd season on Amazon Prime. So obviously I like to read the book first so that I can compare notes, and the book for me was really good. Like, something I've noticed about myself that I did not notice before, I love a good love triangle. Like, when it's done right, a love triangle. Is this a triangle? Is this a triangle? I don't know how to make a triangle. Maybe, there we go, that's a triangle. I love triangle. It's just chef's kiss when it's done right. That's why I like Twilight and the Hunger Games. Like, they do it. So this book was really good to me. But the story, like, I like the writing and everything. It was so cutesy, but I do have to give it a 3.5 because, now let me explain this to you guys. So if you read the first books, the first and second books, it's about Belly, and she is talking to 2 brothers, and I'm not going to tell you guys which is which because I don't want to ruin the book. But in the beginning, the first 2, like, we have the 2 brothers, and they are who they are, and they are who they've been, and we know these characters. Well, in the 3rd book, it feels like she pulled the rug from under us and tried to villainize a character that shouldn't have been villainized, and pretty much swap their roles. There we go, roles. Man, I'm talking so much I can't talk. Let me get some coffee. Let me get some coffee. Okay. So yeah, she tried to like villainize a person, and I feel like it's for the plot. But I feel like this book was pandering, and the ending was way too rushed. There was like barely any build up to the ending that we got. And the book started off like the way we thought it should. Like, oh, okay, this is a nice segue into the 3rd book. And then it was like, this character isn't who you thought he was at all. And it's not like, at first it feels like she tried to make him a bad guy, but then realized halfway through, like, no, we can't do that. People expect him to be a certain type of way. So then she tried to make it like, okay, well, you're not a bad person, but you're not who we thought you were. But also, like, it was just like, it was a lot. And I felt like it needed to not be what it was. If she had calmed down and just, you know, really thought about the story that she was writing, I feel like it could have been better, or maybe it even could have been 2 books instead of 1 really rushed book. But I did like it, but I'm a fan of the series, so that's why. But that was a 3.5 for me. Could have been better. Could have been a lot worse though. So I do recommend this book highly. So that is my May wrap up. Stay tuned for my June TBR. It's not going to be as long. It's not, my June TBR isn't going to be as long as some of my other TBRs. I'm going to keep it really realistic because I want to write this month as well. So you guys will be getting some writing videos as well as reading videos. So the first book on my TBR is Problematic Summer Romance. Yeah, girl, been looking for a good summer romance. This book, I believe, just came out in May. Oh, I'm so excited for this one. This cover looks beautiful, and I'm gonna be honest, this was a total judge the book by its cover TBR choice. Next we have The Charmed Wife. That is right. So this one is a pretty short book, so I'm hoping that I can get through it and it won't be a DNF for being boring. But this is a retelling of Cinderella. And it says that Cinderella wants her Prince Charming dead. So that's exciting. Like, I love a good spin on Cinderella. Cinderella is one of my most favorite fairy tale princess stories. And I watch and read nearly, not everyone, nearly, or not everyone, as many. Okay, let's go with that. I watch and read as many retellings or reimaginings as I can. Okay, booktube. This one was you guys. This Caraval, this is highly recommended on booktube. I have seen so many booktubes about how this is their favorite series, their best one. So I picked this book up without even reading, without actually understanding what it was about. And I feel like that's how I like to go into a book, not knowing. So what I gathered though, because I did get some information, I gathered that Caraval is a show and a girl. Okay, you know what? I'm trying my best, but I really don't know what it's about. Like there's not much by way of, there's not way by much of summary here. So I'm pretty much going in knowing that it is a show. A girl wants to be in a show, but she has to get married, maybe. And it says it's only a game, so maybe it's a game or something. I'm really confused, but booktube, I'm gonna trust, you know what? I'm gonna trust y'all. Y'all did me wrong on Powerless, but I'm willing to give y'all another go. And then we have Story of My Life by Lucy Score. And this book, I did read the summary for this book. So it was, it's a successful romance novelist, has a breakup and has writer's block. And she is trying to turn in something by a deadline. I love books about authors. So this one has been on my TBR list for a while, and it just became available at my local library, which is why I have it now. So hopefully I can get through this, and so hopefully it's as good as I am wanting it to be. Now this one is it looks thick, but it's actually just because it is large print, and that's because this is the only one that was available. So when I put in for a book and there's like 39 people waiting for that book, I'll go see how many people are waiting for the large print. When I put it on hold, there was only like 5 people, so that's why I got this book so quickly. And then the last book is actually going to be on my Kindle that I'm reading, and that is called I don't have my Kindle right now, but I downloaded it. Okay, so that one is The Family Upstairs, and that's by Lisa Jewell. And then she has The Family Remains. I'm not going to read that one this month, but I do want to read The Family Upstairs. I've been wanting to read that one for a while, but y'all, apparently it's very popular because it's been on hold for a while. So every time I go to the library, it's not there. Like any of the libraries I go to, it's already checked out. I just recently started putting books on hold, so that's why I was able to get it on my Kindle. I put it on hold in the e-library and they just downloaded it a couple days ago. So I'm excited to read that too. So I will be back next month to see if I actually got through my TBR or not and what I rate them. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, please comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you again for showing up. I'll see you guys in another video. Bye!